Food on that shit.
Hey guys, John here with Brian. He's got his Infernoid deck profile for us. So, how you been liking it?
I mean, it's fun. It's really fun, but it's not very good right now. It's gonna get a lot better as the next two sets come out. But for now, it's fun to play like locals. Like I might take it to a regional just for the lulz. When it does what it needs to do, it's so strong. But
so sacky.
Yeah, but when it bricks, it bricks.
All right, so let's get right into it then.
Double Onuncu, big chicken. You don't need 3. He takes a lot of resources to summon, but he's really good. Like, it's really annoying. There were a lot of times today at locals where I had him. I needed him in the grave, and he wasn't there, and I was like, man, this really sucks. I really wish I had big chicken. You run triple Attondel. He's the biggest in grave. 28's really big for just to plop out like it's nothing, and he's terrible in the cleave matchup because he has to, when he kills a monster and sends it to the grave by battle, he can attack again, and none of the cleaves go to grave, so it's just really annoying to deal with. But he's still good for just how big of a just attack he has. And then triple Seitsemas, he's really good. He's got 26. He's about as strong as Attondel, just a little bit weaker, but he's really handy because you can attack into something and banish pretty much anything on their field at the end of the battle phase if he's still on the field. And he can get over skill. You can get over easy things like skill drain with the tributing effect, but it's really good because he can just get over pretty much anything. He doesn't target. That's the most important thing. He does not target when it just says banish one card your opponent controls. It's any back row, it's any monster. He pretty much can get over almost anything in the meta right now that I can think of. He's really handy. And then that's it for the big ones. I don't play the level 5. It's really bad. Triple Patrulea. He pops the back row. He's really good for, because I play Raiden right now, so he's really good for making rank 4 plays after you pop, because none of the little ones can attack the turn they activate their effect, so you can go Raiden, mill 2, summon him from the hand, pop a back row, then overlay for like Laval Chain, and just send an Infernoid to the grave, so he made his way back, so I like him a lot. You pretty much have to play 3 of all of them right now for the most part. Triple Hermadik, he's only really bad in the cleave matchup because he doesn't have enough stars to ever pop them because he pops monsters, but he doesn't have enough stars because he's only level 3, so he really sucks for that, but everything else he's fine. He pops monsters. It's always handy. Then Triple Antra, he bounces on any face-up card your opponent controls, but he can't bounce any of the cleaves. The deck's hardest matchup is pretty much cleaves and just a Djinn lock. Like, it's not really bad against Necros, but it sucks because they can just Djinn lock you, so that's just the thing. But he can bounce anything, so like I've had people go like anti-spell on me with reasoning in hand. I just summoned him and bounced the anti-spell back to hand, then reasoning. Like, he can, just the fact that he can do anything face-up is really handy. And then for the Lightsworn engine, I'm playing double Raiden and double Lumina.
It's gross.
I wanted to minimize on how many reasoning targets there were in the deck, but at the same time I wanted there to be enough because charges came back to 2, so I wanted that to always be kind of live.
Right.
And I like Raiden. I love Raiden. He's so good for the synchro plays, and obviously like Lumina can get him back, and it's really helpful. I needed the Micheal, the synchro monster for Lightsworns today. He came in really handy. And then the spells are triple reasoning. There's no reason not to run it right now. It's just you open it, and as long as you're lucky, you can sack somebody. I've gotten some pretty unlucky mills, but that's how it works. Double charge, just because it came back to 2, it makes the deck way more consistent. Like, opening this is really helpful when you need to just get mills in. I mean, like, it's a mill deck, so it's luck based at the moment. When you don't mill good, you aren't gonna win. But when you mill really well, it's fun. And then double Void Seer. This card's amazing. I love this card so much.
It's so good. Why only 2 though?
Well, because you play like Lumina and Raiden, like you don't always have them on the field, and you don't want to open like a Lightsworn engine kind of going on and just have Void Seer and not be able to do anything with it. Plus, you mill it. Basically, what it does, it's basically it negates anything your opponent does to one of your Infernoids.
Right, they're not affected by card effects.
Anything, only your opponent's card effects. It's a quick play spell. It's so helpful. And then when it's in the grave, you can banish it when one of your Infernoids would be destroyed. It doesn't start its own chain. It just, when it would be destroyed, you can banish it instead. And it can be activated the same turn you send it to the grave, so
it's gross.
If you mill it off reasoning, you can go off that turn, and if you mill your Void Seers, you're protected. And we're gonna be able to search that in the Cross Souls comes out, you can search Void Seer, so it's going to be really fucking helpful.
So good.
Double Book of Eclipse. It's good for getting over, like, the Dijin Lock. It's because it doesn't target and it doesn't destroy, so they can't Trish or Gungnir protect the Dijin Lock, which is a hard thing to go over. I made this really, like, I kind of teched it out for the meta just to get over boards. Like, this also gets over a Dark Law easy. It gets over... It kind of is alright against Spirit Beasts, because they can, if they don't, like, whatever they have on the field, it's getting face down, so they can't steed you necessarily, but it's alright against them. But it's mostly just for, like, being able to get over Dijin Lock easy. Then, I'm playing 2 MST just because I still don't want to lose the generic back row. Like, I don't want to lose the Vanities, or if anybody's main decking something annoying like Iron Wall for some reason, but... So, for, like, local level and a regional level, I still play 2 MST just because I don't want to lose the... Mainly Vanities. Like, if you flip Vanities, the deck still loses. It's really frustrating. And then for the 1-ofs, it's Monster Gate. It's the 4th
Disgusting.
Reasoning. It's really... I like it better than
It's better than Reasoning.
I like it better than Reasoning because you can... It's just... Your opponent can't get lucky and call the right one. So you just mill until you get to the one. So it's really good to, like, go Raiden, mill 2, then Reasoning into a Lumina, and be able to get the Raiden back in, like, Synchro or something. It's so helpful. It's probably coming back to 3 by the time the rest of the Infernoid stuff comes out.
And that will be grow.
It just came out. It went back to 3 in the OCG. We're probably going to get it back to 3 soon, too. Raigeki, it's out the boards, you know, the Dijin Lock and all that fancy stuff. Dark Hole, same thing. I didn't want to play 3 Book of Eclipse. Book, same thing, and Burial, just because Burial's just amazing in this deck. You pretty much will win if you open that. Like, as long as that card doesn't get milled, you'll probably win if you get to it. Then I only play 3 traps. I play double Needlebug Nest. I wasn't playing any of these originally, but I kind of wanted to try to make it, like, this is the only way I could think of making the deck more consistent. Like, you can't make a deck that doesn't search more consistent. And I figured this might just be an easy way to do it, because sometimes your reasonings they can bust and you don't get anywhere with them. I've reasoned and the top card is Raiden and it sucked. So this can, if you open this, it can help it, like breaking. And then the Ring, because I like Ring a lot in this deck because it's just spot removal. It's another out to, like, monsters like Dark Law and the Majesties and Vanities Fiend and the Dijin Lock potentially, but I just like it because it's chainable and can just get rid of a troublesome monster real quick. The extra deck is pretty unimportant. You only go into a few things. 1 Black Rose, I make this a lot. This pretty much, if I love charging, milling a Raiden, and searching Lumina and just Black Rosing somebody for all their back row. When we get Lilith, the next one in Cross Souls, she nukes the back row, so that's gonna make Black Rose not as necessary, because the problem is, like, when your opponent sets 4 and you're like, I need a quick way to just get over all this so I can win. Micheal, he's really good for spot removal for anything like Antra, except he banishes it, which is so helpful. I got over I banished 1 sacrifice today and it went hard. Scrap Archfiend and Gaia Knight, the Force of Earth, they're really helpful because they to summon the Infernoids, you can't have more than level 8 effect monsters on the field, but these guys don't have effects, so you can make, like, instead of having 7 on the field and only being able to summon one Infernoid, you can use Raiden and Lumina to make this, or use Antra and Raiden to make this, and then you can still summon, like, 2 more Infernoids. Like, these 2 with, like, any of the 2 big ones, it's no TK on its own. They all have way over 2,000, it's no TK on their own. So, you don't really make him as much. You can only make him with Raiden and Antra, but I like it just in case, because there are some hands where it's like, I'll bounce something, mill 2, and then just go into it just to go off as fast as I can. And then, Black Rose, this Moonlight thing, I never make it. You don't make a lot of stuff in this deck. Cowboy, you never make it. Abyss Dweller, you never make it. It doesn't hurt the deck at all, even if it did affect, like, people... Nobody's made this against me yet, but I want them to, because...
Pretty much, folks, you just don't use the extra deck.
Not really. Exciting Time, I make him occasionally. Big Eye and Draco Sack, never made him. Ragna Zero, never made it. Never made it, but there have been a few times where I needed to, but I just decided not to, but I could have. Castel, make him a decent amount of time. I might play a Diamond Dire over him just to get him off the field by doing the 2000s. It's helpful. Like, Gemnite Pearl, it's the same thing with, like, Scrap Archfiend and Gaia, the Force of Earth. He doesn't have an effect, so you can still flood the field. I've never made him. And Laval Chain, pretty much going to him almost every other game. Like, being able to banish
Why not run 2? Just because you don't have enough
You
to
don't have
make
enough,
it?
there's not enough level 4s to do it consistently. Like, you
Gotcha.
just had, like, because, like I said, you can go Raiden, mill 2, summon Patrulea by banishing one from the grave or something, pop a back row, then make this, you pitch the Patrulea off of him to send one of the big ones, and you just, like, basically, you kind of pseudo-searched. You searched for a big one to put into the grave instead of having, like, a bad little one.
Gotcha.
And then, the side deck is, alright. It's triple Royal Decree because...
You're scared of traps?
Not necessarily scared. Like, this deck doesn't care about generic back row, but it cares about floodgates, and I don't play a lot of traps, and I was playing like a lot of twisters and MSTs, and I was like, why don't I just play Royal Decree instead? Because people are going to side out MSTs against this deck.
Right.
And then triple Mind Crush for like Necros, and pretty much
So
anything. Anything I don't put in Royal Decree against, I'll put this in against.
And it triple Mind Crush for anything in the game right now?
Pretty much. Double Twister, I was playing 3, but then I took it out and made room for the Royal Decrees. But this is still helpful because this deck only loses to Floodgates, and it only loses to a few of them. It loses to D-Fissure, Macro,
Iron Wall?
Iron Wall. It loses Iron Wall hard. Vanities, and there's one other, but I can't remember what it was. There's one other it loses to, I think. I was going to lose a turn a little bit. The third book of Eclipse, just for in case Necros, then I want to put another out to the Jin. The third MST, just before I put in the Twisters, depending on how back row heavy the deck is. And then 2 Flying Sea for BA and Satellas. This is probably going to go up to 3 when the Star Seraphs come out, because the Star Seraphs are really hard to deal with in this deck, because it's just hard to deal with way more consistent decks than it. 2 Artifact Lancia for the Mirror and Spirit Beast, because I can't play Iron Wall. So I have to make do with what I can. And it's not bad, because even if if you side it in and you reasoning for it, nobody's going to call 5, so you're going to get this summon off. He's got 1700, and he can tribute himself from the field, too, to do the same, to stop your opponent from banishing.
Oh, that's gross. I didn't even think about that,
Yeah.
you could reasoning him out.
Yeah, nobody will call 5 against you.
I mean, stupid people might just don't realize.
And then 1 Lila. I don't have 2. I might play 2 because like you can side like a Raiden and a Lumina out for 2, or just side out one. I usually just side out one of the Raidens to put her in because you can charge for her. So it's like just a way to search an MST and make your opponent either waste a Fiendish Chain or just you pop a back row. So
Seems legit.
that's it.
Alright, well thanks. Are you, what, are you gonna run this at the next regional, or?
Yeah, I might. I might. I don't.
Do you think that it'll be, like, I don't want to say, like, obviously it's not gonna be tier 1, but do you think it'll be, like, high tier 2 with the next set, or do you think you need to wait a little bit longer?
Not the next set. I think in August when we get Clash of Rebellion, when we get Decatron and the Shadal Fusion for the deck, it's going to be really good.
Well,
Like,
it's gonna be disgusting, though.
It'll probably be tier 1 for sure.
Yeah, that's, especially with everything else tentatively getting hit.
For now, it's still just a luck-based deck, but I enjoy it. It's fun. You'll sack people, and they'll get salty because there's not, like, this deck. It's just so annoying to deal with. It's so hard to target them and deal with it.
And it has, you run, what, 20 DD Crows?
So I've been seeing a couple Infernoids top, and they've been making mistake. What's your view on that?
I tried it, and I didn't like it. Like, it made it really hard to open decent consistently. Like, I was opening like too many of it, and it just wasn't doing. Like, I wasn't getting to reasoning or like charge. Like, I just wasn't getting to things to mill with.
You weren't getting to your real cards.
That's why I took out 3 mistakes for 2 Needlebug Nests just to try to make the deck more consistent. Like, I understand like mistakes are really good in this because we only search with charge, but this like.
Are you glad you made that change?
Yeah, I didn't. It wasn't working for me. Like I was drawing it too much and not having anything else to do with my hands. Like you open a bunch of monsters, a mistake, you're not winning. And even if they don't search, like you're not winning. If they have any play, the game's over. So I was side decking. I might, but yeah, that's it.
All right. Well, thanks for the profile. If you guys have any questions, just let us know.
See ya.